One Piece chapter 1108. This chapter has some crazy implications for the One Piece world moving forward, so let's get straight into it. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a like so YouTube knows you liked it. Make sure to leave a comment about anything I said in the video or any thoughts you have on the chapter in general, and hit the subscribe button if you're a fan of the content, and hit the post notification bell if you want to be notified of all future uploads. Now let's get into it. I told y'all last week, Caribou is gonna tell it all. He was in, hey, but I like how Van Augur and Katarina, they weren't just immediately like, oh yeah, go ahead, come with us. They're like, nah, you know, there's people out there looking for our captain, and this is a government island, so give us a good reason to trust you. And Caribou he's putting it all on the line, which I don't blame him, because the information that he has, is Blackbeard is definitely gonna want that. And like I said last week, we could see the storming of Wano, we could see the storming of Fisherman Island. As soon as Caribou hits Beehive, things are going to be crazy, because you got to think about it. Blackbeard is going to have Garp in his pocket, and he's going to have all the information that Caribou can give to him. Like, this man is on his way to not even becoming Pirate King, to becoming king of the world. So I'm excited to see what kind of run Blackbeard is going to have moving forward. The Blackbeard Pirates have not disappointed me anytime they've come on screen post time skip. So let's just keep watching, see what's going on. Now, this is a crazy crackpot theory that I had just as I was reading this chapter. I was like, because we still don't have an explanation of who moved Luffy during, you know, when he was passed out from going Gear 5th. And I had a crazy thought, which I don't think this is a true possibility, but I just want to put it out there to see how people feel. But is it possible that Katarina and Van Augur moved Luffy and gave him the food? Because hear me out. Whatever they were there for, their goal is not to be fighting with the world government. They're just there to get in and get out. They just happen to run across St. J and find Caribou. But in this type of scenario where you got Kizaru, you got a Gorosei, like looking like a demonic entity, and you're like, yeah, we're not here to fight, but you know, Straw Hat and them are down for it, so let's help him out so he can distract them, and it'll make it easier for us to escape. I don't know. I'm saying there's not a big chance that happened. I don't think there's a 0% chance that happened. So let me know how you guys feel about that in the comments down below. Now, we saw that the vice admirals are finally stepping up. We're gonna get a little bit more into that later, but you know, we saw Vice Admiral Tosa, or whatever his name was, you know, he was getting ready to do his thing, and then Dorian Broggy just came and wrecked his whole day. But it sucks, because the Vice Admirals, I think they desperately need some hype, but they're not really put in the position to ever really get any. And we got some more hype for the Giants this chapter, because they're sitting there talking. Well, Doll was talking about, have you ever, not Doll, sorry, Bluegrass was asking Doll if she's ever fought a giant before, and then she was talking about how she was under Saul like 20 years ago. But speaking of Doll, I wonder if Doll is going to be able to put in some work, because she was under Saul, so she probably has some experience fighting giants. I mean, I feel like Oda is kind of putting her in a position to do something. But speaking of Vice Admirals, I could have sworn we were supposed to get Smoker this arc. Maybe I just need to go back and reread where they said he was at, but I swear they say he was near Egghead or something. I've just been sitting here waiting for Smoker, and I low-key forgot until just now. Do you guys still think it's a chance for Smoker to pop up? I think at this point it isn't really, but let me know how you feel in the comment section. Now, going back to Dory and Broggy real quick, me personally, I'm not really feeling this whole narrative of them being Usopp's masters. Like, I don't hate it, but I think it feels a lot like Oda trying to fill in. I don't want to say the relationship wasn't there, because we saw in Little Garden like their relationship with the Straw Hats, but this whole Usopp talking about them being his masters and Frankie knowing about that, it just feels very forced to me, just because we're going to Elbaf and Usopp might finally get some shine that, you know, he's been lacking. I'm not saying that's going to be Usopp's arc. I'm not one of those people, one of those, oh, Wano's supposed to be Zoro's arc, blah blah blah. I don't fall for that okie doke stuff. Like, I thought people would have learned their lesson by now, but they're still clinging on to hope that Usopp is just gonna have the Elbaf arc. Goodness, that Usopp is gonna have the Elbaf arc damn near all to himself, and I think you're just setting yourself up for disappointment if you think that. Yeah, man, I think this whole Giants being Usopp's master thing that he's constantly talking about apparently is just a little too forced for my liking. I was kind of doubting, but I I'm still doubting because it's One Piece, but I think it really should be curtains for Vegapunk. Like, I think he should just be out the way because this man is bleeding out. He's like talking about don't move me, and Sanji's like, nah, I'm gonna get you out here anyway. He's like, I'm gonna bleed out. So you got that going on. Then he got shot through the stomach by Kizaru, which it was interesting that is, I feel like, the first time we've seen Kizaru take a direct offensive blow to either Bonney, Kuma, or Vegapunk. And maybe it was because Vegapunk was kind of already hurting and Kizaru just wanted to put him out of his misery. I'm not entirely sure, but I just thought that was really interesting for him to decide now to finally like just straight up go for him. But especially given what happens at the end of this chapter, I'm kind of fine with Vegapunk going because I thought there was a chance that Shaka would come back. But you know, we still have some satellites. I think the only ones that have died are Shaka and I think Edison? No, maybe Edison didn't even die. I think they're all fine except for Shaka. I could be wrong though. But yeah, I'm fine with Vegapunk dying. I think he has fulfilled what he needs to in the story. Definitely with that ending. So Saint J has just said screw it and went full Zoan. At least I think that's his full Zoan. It could just be something we haven't seen before because I wouldn't doubt that he's done some type of experimentation to his body in regards to like devil fruit and all that. So it could just still be his hybrid form, but just a little bit more amped up, like where the form he was in before wasn't really full hybrid and this is, or something like that. But I kind of like this form a lot more. He looks a lot more like crazed and deranged. It's giving the vibe of like the Zoan is starting to take over a little bit more. We see he's got the little poison to the touch thing going on, which is pretty cool. But it just makes me even more excited to see the rest of the Gorosei. When people were saying Bonney for Straw Hat, I thought they were crazy because people do this every single arc where we get introduced to a character or a character comes back into the story and they're like, oh, this character for Straw Hat. You know, I thought Momo for Straw Hat. I thought Tama for Straw Hat. I thought Yamato for Straw Hat. I thought Carrot could be a Straw Hat at some point. And these never panned out. But this chapter, Vegapunk directly says to please protect Bonney because he didn't want to reveal the whole pacifista thing until she was a little more grown up, you know, her actual age, because I forget how old she is. She's like 12 or something, maybe like 9, but she's still very young. And he knew that if they knew she could control the pacifistas, that they were going to be after her head. And the cat's out of the bag. So what I personally think might happen is the revolutionaries might be taking care of Bonney because, you know, Kuma is still, I guess, alive to an extent. Like, he's still there. We saw him getting carried off with Bonney and Frankie. So I don't see why the revolutionaries wouldn't want to get Kuma back and by extension protect his daughter that he gave up so much for. So I'm not against Bonney for Straw Hat. I just don't really see it. I more see her going and being with the revolutionaries. Luffy, man, how many more times you have to do something that just makes me want to scream out? That is my Yonko, my boy, holding down Kizaru and Saint J. Now, I don't think Saint J is really a problem for Luffy. Like, we saw him dodging all Saint J's attacks, and Kizaru hasn't been looking too favorable, but I also don't think we have seen the full strength of an admiral yet. I'm sorry, I just highly doubt that what we've been seeing from Kizaru is his true capabilities. There's still the matter of possibly having awakening and all that other good stuff you learn as an admiral. So I think it's still going to be a good fight going forth. I don't think Saint J is really anything to worry about. But yeah, that panel's just hard, man. I might just make that the thumbnail because how do you top that? Like, and people were talking about, oh, Gear 5's too goofy, blah, 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 blah. But I knew we were going to get moments like this where you can still see the seriousness that Luffy has, because Gear 5 is just Luffy amped up to 11. That's why I love it so much, because his goofiness is amped up, but he still has those moments where it's like, all right, bro, like, no more games. Like, y'all aren't going nowhere. Just sit tight. So you love to see it. And I hope that people are happy with that and it gives them some more hope towards Gear 5 in the future. And Vegapunk is about to shake the world to its core. I did not imagine that what would be coming out of the Egghead incident is the truth of the world being revealed on a wide scale. The One Piece world has been in turmoil, I feel like, ever since Wano started, and this is just going to send the world into pure chaos. We are truly getting to the end of the story. It's such a bittersweet feeling. I hope that we just get an exposition dump for maybe these next couple chapters of what Vegapunk has to say. Maybe it'll be like box panels as we see the Straw Hats running away and Luffy fighting, or it could just be full dedicated chapters to like a flashback or something. I don't know. Is this when we get the Void Century flashback? I wouldn't be mad at it. I would not be mad at all, or at least part of the Void Century flashback, and we can come back to it even more later. I'm just very excited with the implication of all that's going on. So I can't wait to cover these chapters for you guys. But anyways, that is the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like so YouTube knows you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you really love the channel, if you really fuck with me, and turn on the post notification bell if you want to be notified of any future uploads. Leave a comment down below. It's greatly appreciated. It has been your boy Dougie D Fresh, and I'm out. Peace.